Hello everyone, what's up? It's Stepano TV here, and today we are going to be doing some maps, working on our filter, and uh, just trying to make your experience with Path of Exile a little bit better. Right now, I'm just putting in a map. I have a zero filter, and we can quickly probably see why filters are essential in Path of Exile and why we need them. I'm not going to clear the whole map, but I'm just going to show you. Look at how many items are dropping left and right. This is just sadly too many items for us, and we can't deal with this. So I wanted to tell you guys how to address this. There's going to give you a few different options of how to fix this for yourselves, and hopefully this will make you a little bit of a better filter maker in the future. So let me clear out some safety. And these are, as you can see, like my screen is just chock full of items, just too many items. Like I want this jeweler orb, but I don't want anything else around the jeweler orb. So the first step of making a filter is logging on to the website, the Path of Exile website. And once you're logged on to the Path of Exile website, you can go to like Google, for example, if you don't have this link. And I will link this link below, but you can do PoE filter. And the second link will say Path of Exile. On my computer, it might be different for you. Path of Exile ladder follower. And this is a list of every public filter, basically, how many people follow it, stuff like that. So a lot of times when I'm doing league start, I might not want to make my own filter, so I'll go through, look at the the really popular ones, and I will click on a filter that looks good for me. In this example, for league start, I'll probably go like I'll do all of these 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the default filters made by Neversink, who's the creator of Filterblade. So I highly do recommend these ones. If you are, you don't want to make your own filter and you just want to follow one, you can just click follow, and then you go into your game, you push escape, options, and boom, Neversink 1. As you can see, a lot of the items I've deleted, but not all of them. So, you know, uh, if you're starting out with filters, you probably want to add every single one of these, and then you just keep going up in strictness until you are happy. Filters are essential so that you don't click too much, and you can minimize your time per map. You can maximize your time per map and make a lot of money. If you want to work on making your own filter, and you have a good idea of what Neversink's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 include, you can go again to Google, right? Filterblade, or no, PoE filters even. Doesn't really matter what you type. And you're going to get to a website called filterblade.xyz. So we went over the filter ladder. Now we're going to, now that we know what Neversink's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 entail, now we can select your base filter for Filterblade, the one that we're going to work on and edit. And as you can see, all the strictnesses are here, more or less. They're right here in the beginning of the page, in the overview. Before you start messing around with too much of this stuff, again, you're going to want to sign in. You sign into your PoE account, and it will show that your PoE account is up here. On this example, we're going to start with very strict. As our base filter. We can scroll down on the front page and we can look at different themes. And this will show you the colors of items, maps, stuff like that. And for example, this so that is normal. If I go to Lunaris, now I can go look. Wait. See how the colors change? So map fragments purple. Abyss, Map Fragments Red. You can kind of click through these different themes till you find a theme that you do like. If you are trying to do like low level mapping and you're starting a league, I would just recommend using the ladder, the PoE ladder. The PoE filter ladder, if you're doing stuff before like tier 14 maps and you don't need a custom filter, I would just go with, you know, never sync strict 3, never sync strict 4. The reason I do that is because I'm not sure exactly what's valuable each league. I'm not sure exactly what I want on my filter and what I don't. So I'd rather just go with a base filter that I don't edit. And then as I get kind of a feeling of what the league entails, I would like, then I will edit a filter accordingly. So right now we have very strict. We're going to go with the color Val. And we have all these different tabs now. So if you, let's just say the only thing you want to do is take the very strict filter and change the colors on it, we're already done. And you can go to save and export. You can give it a name. League filter test. You can make it public so that other people can follow it. And you can also make it auto load so that if you ever open up filterblade and you're logged in, it will be the one that loads. So we're going to sync it and we're going to save and sync it. So this filter was called League Filter Test. And if we go to our profile on Path of Exile, and we click the top thing right up here, we go to item filters, it's right here for other people to follow if they want. And it's on our front page of our profile. So now that we have it, we can go into the game and it should be here in a blue text. Now almost everything's gone. And now we're happy. But let's just say we see stuff that we don't like. Okay? So the Wolf Legacy. We don't want the Wolf Legacy on the filter. You can pick up the Wolf Legacy and you can go to this Simulate tab. And this is what I would recommend when you're getting used to fixing your own filter. Until you get a recognition of where everything is, I'd come to this part where it says in-game item recreator. And it says if you do Control-Alt-C while hovering over an item in your PoE inventory to copy it, and then you paste it into this box, it will recreate the item in Filterblade. This will let you see what rules capture the item and how to directly edit it. So we're going to go Control-Alt-C and paste it in here. So now be careful because the Wolf Legacy is in Divination cards tier 3. That's the rule it's in. So if I do hide, I'm going to hide every tier 3 Divination card. You see that? I turned them all off. Where if what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to click the find in customizer and then you're going to look for the card that you don't want to see. Unless you're sure you don't want all these cards, you're going to look for what card you want to delete. So we'll look for it, right here, the Wolf Legacy. And you can either move it down or you can hit the X tab. So you can move it down to like down here, or you can push the X tab. X tab will just shove it all the way at the bottom, hidden. And you can bring it back with the refresh button. I like to drag things down personally, but there's nothing wrong with hitting the X button. So again, it's going to be right back where it was. I don't even know where it went. Oh, it put it right at the bottom. So we're going to hit the X key. Boom. Now it's hidden. So if we save and export again, now it's going to say successfully updated filter. It should arrive in game in a few minutes. That's what it said in the bottom right. So now it might not be right away, but we hit the refresh button and we look at the time. This is updated 4 minutes ago, so it's currently not updated, but we're going to drop the card and eventually it will update and this item will be hidden. So that's how you can take off an item that you do not want to see. Again, this is a 3 passive cluster. It's level 83. It's not level 84. We might not want that whatsoever. So we're going to Control Alt C it. We're going to go to Simulate. We're going to go to the bottom of the Simulate page. And we're going to go here. It says Small Clusters. We find it. Now, we don't need to edit right away. We can go look at the whole section. This is Cluster Jewels Any Enchantment. And we're going to start looking at the rule sets and if we want to remove anything. And if we know that we want to remove, so this is 84 or higher. We might want to keep that, right? But everything under 84 is the second section. Because this is high level, this regular. We can basically apply it to the medium clusters and the large clusters. Medium clusters are tricky because low-level medium clusters are worth a lot of money, so we're not going to apply it to the good medium clusters. We're just going to apply it to the random medium clusters, and we're not going to apply it to the good high-level. We always want to pick up high-level cluster jewels, and we're going to, in this case, pick up the regular good medium cluster jewels, but we don't want the mix-mash cluster jewels because they just take up extra space. So we're going to disable that. We're going to disable the small clusters, and we're going to disable the large cluster jewels and keep the good and the good high level. And then we're going to most likely go through looking through these, but this says good enchantments. We're going to trust Filter Blade on this one. Top enchantments, we're going to trust it. So on and so forth. However, if you don't want these items to make sounds, you can click into the sound, turn off sounds, to no sound, turn off the star, turn off this. Whatever you want, you can do. I don't like to have noises on every single item drop because I am MFing and I do drop a good amount of items. So I try to take off a lot of the sounds and a lot of the symbols that indicate where an item is. This brings us to global settings. Once you start becoming a little bit more comfortable with your editing your filters, there is an advanced global settings section. And there's 4 or 5 different options. So you have filter structure, which we're not going to go over in this video. You have upload filter, which I've never used, but it means if you can try to upload someone else's filter and then edit it. But I would most likely just ask them for their filter share link. So let's just say you know someone that has a good filter and you want to mess around with it. You can ask them to give you this share link. The share link allows you to load their filter onto your computer and then you can edit it. So it also tells you, warning, this is likely to cause things to misbehave and not work well, basically. So I just don't recommend this at all. But what section we're going to go over is settings. So the most important setting in settings is always show all SHD buttons, which that means show, hide, disable. So if I can quickly show you, I was helping my buddy Traffic yesterday and he's MFing, right? So we're going to go up to unique items and you can see there's only show here. Show, hide, show. And then like what are you going to do if you want to hide all boss drop uniques? How are you going to hide it? Well, you need to go to your advanced settings and you need to hit this always show all, show, hide, disable. Now you have show, hide, disable instead of just show. And because you're not doing bosses and you're MFing, you can do your hide or disable, and now a lot, like a plethora of uniques will not show up on your filter, and it will make it easier basically moving forward. Going back to the advanced sections, we have this used to be, I think, in advanced settings, but now it's in style. We have this one other thing, which is global style edits. If you're very familiar with your filter and you want to do global edits all at once, this is the section you'd go to, and you'd basically would remove all beams, remove all map icons, remove all sounds from your items, from your filter, and then you'd add sounds back to the items that you would want to swing, which there's not too many items you probably want to make sounds. You want to make really expensive items to make sounds and give you indicators, and this is what this section does. You can also excuse me, I'm so sorry. You can change the size of all your items to minimum size to maximum size. If you've watched Cloudy before, you can see that he has like very, very small items. This is where he does it. So this is if you want to do massive editing to your whole filter all at once, you do this. I do recommend that you do play around with this, but just know that it's going to take a little bit extra time to fix up the filter, but it's totally worth it, because if every item's not beaming up and putting beams to the sky, making sounds, it's going to give you a better experience. The reasoning that you want to hide, you want to probably have multiple filters, or you want to get into the behavior of holding Alt and checking, you know, what you're hiding, or holding Alt on boss fights, is because when you magic find, you're looking for uniques. Boss drop uniques are expensive if you drop them from the boss, but if you drop the similar base type in a map, it's not going to be expensive. So this says an Oriath's End is 3,000 chaos. A shiny Oriath's End is 10,000 chaos. And the Wise Oak is 4 chaos. So if you're in a map, the only bismuth fast that you can drop is called a Wise Oak, and it's only 4 chaos. So to disable a boss drop while you're mapping is going to be advantageous, because if that item is going to be valuable and it can drop in a map, it's not going to be in a different section. It's not going to be in boss drops. So if you are just trying to get a good idea of what to disable, what not to disable, you can just mouse over each item. And then if you're not sure what you want to do, if you're not sure, like, well, what is Chimeria's Avarice? Is that, you know, can I drop that even, or what it is? You can type it into Google or type it into the trade site to try to get a better idea of what that is and if it's worth keeping on your filter or not. Finally, if you put in a lot of work into your filter, what can happen is things can change over time. And what does that mean? That means if you go back to the beginning of your filter and overview, you have these 4 boxes at the top. It says never sync tiering based on current softcore economy updates every 4 hours. So no matter what changes you put on the filter, every 4 hours, those can possibly get changed by NeverSync, which is based on a softcore economy update, which is, I think, based off PoE Ninja pricing. Then you have the hardcore economy. Generally, I've only made filters for softcore, so I don't know what you want for hardcore, but this is, again, based off hardcore pricing. And then NeverSync stable, tiering based on the last handmade update. And then Ruthless, which we don't play Ruthless, but if you are very confident in the way that you are making your filters, you're going to put NeverSync stable. And that means you are 100% in charge of your filter. Nothing will change on your filter if there's a global update to NeverSync, and that you need to do handmade updates on it. So once I'm really, really comfortable with making my own filters, I click this, and this means that my filter won't change every 4 hours in case, you know, something changes in the economy. but that means I'm in charge of adding and deleting stuff from the filter. Let's say you want to keep stable out of the equation. You want NeverSync to update certain things, but you also are confident about certain things. So you go to your currency, and you see how everything is kind of grayed out a little bit. Let's just say you do a lot of work on your currency and you're really, really happy with all the changes you made, and you don't want anyone to change it. You have this button right here that says locks and lock all. So lock means you can go through each one and you can lock it yourself. And that means these will always stay here no matter what, and no one can change it. No global updates from filterblade, no nothing. Or you can do lock all, and you can lock every single thing in this whole section, and it will stay like this forever. All right. So if you, let's just go. So we've updated this. This should disappear. Now that's been more than 3 minutes. We refresh. That disappeared. Everything else is the same. Just kill a few more mobs. See if we can get something weird to drop. We definitely don't want, personally, we don't want rare Viridian jewels. So we're going to take that off. And we have Onyx Amulet and Orb of Augmentation. So we're going to grab these 3 things. And we're going to go look at where are these things on the filter, why are they there, and how do we edit them. So again, like I said, you can Control Alt C on the item. It's lagging. My screen's lagging because I'm doing screen share instead of sharing my PoE. My bad. Alright, so we're going to go to Simulate. Control V. We have rare jewels. It says even rare jewels. We can find in Customizer. We don't necessarily want to see them, so we're going to hide them. Boom. That's done. Already done. Now we have 8 Orb of Augmentation. So we're going to Control Alt C over the Orb of Augmentations. We're going to go here. We're going to Control V. And we have high supply. It's high stacked currency. These are little currencies. Orb of Augmentation, Orb of Transmute, Blacksmith, Whetstone. So we can just hide it. But what can happen is you have, let's just say you're in your currency and you're like, okay, I don't want to see chromatic orbs. They're not worth it. I hide them, right? So I hide my chromatic orbs. But what can happen is there is a few sections that they've added to Filterblade over time, and it's called stacked currency. So I took out of general currency, I took chromatic orbs out. However, there's 2 sections here, small stack, large stack, and then supplies. And you kind of have to look through each one of these, right? So if I type in the right chromatic orb, it's going to show me that chromatic orbs is in stack currency huge, stack currency huge, stack currency large. So it's in more than one section. So if I hit the jump button, you can see that we have chromatic orbs. We have tainted chromatic orbs, which it picked up tainted chromatic orbs, which is not the right one. So that's okay. We can keep that. Then we go to the next one and we have chromatic orbs. And it's saying it's going to show 6 or more chromatic orbs. If you're okay with picking up chromatic orbs in stacks of 6, you leave it here. But let's just say you don't want it. You can hit the X button or bring it down. Probably should hit the X button, actually. If you hit the X button, it just removes it completely. If you do not like the idea of stack currencies, the stack currency setting, there's one other trick that I can show you. But let's just go through it all. So this is going to show, let's see, chromatic orb. Let's just push enter again. We got chromatic orbs out there. This is going to show chromatic orbs in 3 or more. So we're going to close that out because we don't want to see stacked chromatic orbs. And now we're good. But let's just say we personally do not like this 3 sections, and we just want whatever rules we put here are rules that will keep, like, that will basically move forward. So like if we think that we want to see jeweler orbs, or we don't want to see jeweler orbs, we don't care if they're in stacks of 20 or stacks of 1, we don't want to see them. What we can do, and this is kind of really cool in my opinion, is we set up all of our general currency rules, and then we go to large stacks, and we don't hide them, we disable. This means this rule is just gone. So if we disable all these sections, what's going to happen is it's going to revert you to whatever rule applies, which is your general currency. So if you don't like the idea of 3 sections for the same currency type, you can just disable everything, right? And then it's going to refer to the general currency as the rules. Again, I don't necessarily recommend you playing with that until you are comfortable with making your own filter. Another section in Filterblade that really needs you to go over it slowly based on what you want is the Divination section. If you flip stack decks, it's a really good time to take a little bit of extra time and go through the Divination cards that you do want to show up and the ones that you don't want to show up. Because if you do maps that drop, stack decks or Divination rewards, and you don't have this filtered out the way you want, there's just so many different Divination cards that can kind of get in your way. So I do recommend you taking a lot of time going through this and editing it the way you want. Tier 4 common cards, some of them are really good, some of them are not so good. Same with the common currency cards. You might want Orb of Annulment, but you might not want 17 chromatic orbs. So you gotta just decide what is good for you, what isn't good for you, which ones you do want to see, which ones you don't. Offering of Goddess, you have to pick up X amount of cards to get Offering of Goddess when you could just pick up one off the floor, or you probably don't want to sell them. So you might want to take off Boon of Justice, but keep, again, Orb of Annulment. So once you got your filter set up, finally, again, we went over this already once, but you can save and sync your filter. And we did a bunch of changes that we didn't really check. So you do not want to change a lot of things on the filter all at once. You want to do 1-2 changes at a time and then double check that it's good. These are basically the things that are hidden off of your filter that you might, like, if you want to double check, did I want this hidden? Did I not want this hidden? You come here. So right now it says Elegant Round Shield cheap uniques are hidden. This is not normal on high strictness. The Squire unique is not hidden and detected by its what. So it's saying the Squire will show up, but you are hiding the Elegant Round Shield. And it's saying that in this high strictness that you are at, that this will normally be shown. These are the main big changes that we have, that the filter blade's like, hey, are you sure you want these? And it's just giving us an idea. From what I can see, everything's good except Orb of Alterations. We probably would want Orb of Alterations. This other stuff is kind of cheap. When you are working on your filter, you probably have a good surplus of this stuff. You can always add it, loot a bit of it, and then take it away. Or if you're willing to spend money, you can just buy, Orb Chances for like Chaos, and you get so many so that you don't have to ever loot them again. When you do save and export it, again, it's going to be on your filter. You can share your item filter link from your profile. So the way you get to that, again, I'll just show you one more time, is you go to your main profile and you have your item filters. You can share it with your friends and you can say, hey, guys, if you don't mind, try my filter out. If you see anything that's a huge mistake, let me know. Or you can load your filter plus someone else's filter. So right now I have Tuna's filter, Snoobay's filter, and this one we're going to unfollow because that's very unstrict. But we can follow the super strict one. And we can basically now go in our map and we can go between our filter, Tuna's filter, So this is Tuna's filter. This is our filter. So we're showing gloss bobblers, breach rings, 3 chromatic orbs, which will get updated in time.
Monkey on the car.
Monkey on the car.
Fuck off.
Oh no.
Sorry about that. It's gonna show the chromatic orbs should remove once the filter updates. But if we don't want, like, we can compare filters basically. So Tuna took all this shit off, all this stuff off. We can get an idea of why did he take it off and do we want it off. And you can basically just run through maps, and if you just do this a few times over over the day, your filter will be perfect basically by the end of it. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over with making your own filter. And I hope that this video wasn't too long or too confusing. But if you do have any questions and want any help with filters, I've been making filters for about 3-4 leagues now, and I have no problem answering your questions. I do stream like every other day on twitch.tv, Depano TV, and if it's closer to league start, I stream every day. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching the video.